I myself actually experienced a shooting threat in my own school, and that was the most terrifying thing that a person could ever go through, and they almost drowned in the beach. Hello everyone, what's up and what's down? This is Amir and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button for you to be part of the family. So today I'm going to do a Q&A about my exchange here, and I'm going to spill some tea about what happened in America. So if you want to find that out, then keep on watching. For those of you who are new here, hi, my name is Amir and I am from Zamboanga City, Philippines, and I was an exchange student in Ohio, United States of America through the Kennedy Lugar Youth Exchange and Study Program for the school year 2017-2018. Quite some time right now, but everything is still fresh within me as if it happened just yesterday. June 5, 2018, 2 years ago, by the time that you're watching this, I rode that plane when I left my host community, marking the end of my exchange year. As a tribute to my second year anniversary as an alumni of the KLS program, I'm going to expose the truth about my exchange year. Let's relive some experiences and reminisce my moments in America through these questions that I found on the website. So without further ado, let's proceed to the video. Let's kick off this Q&A by our first question. How did you pick your program? So there are two types of program existing in this world that I know of. The paid program and the sponsored program. My program is the Kennedy Lugar Youth Exchange and Study Program, and it is sponsored through the Department of State by the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs. That means that I don't have to pay for anything like my airfare, my stipend, and everything that has to do with financial assistance. As a matter of fact, that the only thing that I was concerned about was my application, my passport, and personal things that I have to be cleared of. But in regards to my flight and everything in between, it was all the program and my implementing organization that cared about it. To answer you, how did I pick the program? My school basically is known to send the students since 2003, which is the first batch here in the Philippines, and I was just inspired by two exchange students that came before me, which were 9th graders by that time, and I was a 7th grade student. So I thought that when I reach 9th grade, I'd also be like them. So I applied into the program, and the rest is history. What were you excited or nervous about before you left? Ever since as a child, maybe I was in 4th grade, I've always had an American dream. So I was always excited to see what really is America like, and imagining that everything that I see in movies would become reality in just a snap of a finger is just so exciting. But of course, I was also nervous about messing up because I am representing my country, myself, and my culture. Therefore, there's no room for mistakes. But I was happy that at least I could say that I was a bit successful with my exchange here. And how are classes different from there? Okay, this is a good question. Well, American education system and Philippine education system is a lot different in terms of choosing your classes. In the Philippines, most classes are really fixed, so you don't have the freedom to choose your subjects. Unlike in America, you take prerequisite classes like science, math, English, history classes, and you have the freedom to choose your electives or choose an advanced placement classes depending upon what you want to pursue. But I think in general, I feel like when you are in an Asian education system, it's a lot of pressure rather than America. I feel like America has like that chill education system where you could learn by your comfortability rather than you being pushed about doing things you don't really like. What was American high school like? In terms of infrastructure, it was really different because public schools in America have at least 4 fields, like baseball field, then football field, and then they have track. Well, in the Philippines, which is a developing nation, our campuses aren't really like that. And then in terms of activities, I really admire America because they put a lot of effort in sports and they really put importance into it. The attitude towards sports there is just different. And in terms of activities, they do vary a lot in terms of Spirit Week, homecoming, proms, winter formals, those kinds of things which aren't present in other schools. So definitely that's things that I miss about American high school, especially student sections, because that's what we don't have here in the Philippines in terms of supporting our teams in regards to sports. What kind of food do you miss? Well, I took yearbook class, and every time we finish our seasonal spreads, we would do a food day. Basically, we won't edit or do any work, but we will eat. So usually our teacher would bring chicken dip, and then we will bring chips. So I miss that. Also, I tasted my first ever cinnamon roll inside the yearbook class. But in terms of my mom's cooking, I miss the beef and noodles and the barbecue sauce in general, and of course Chick-fil-A. We still don't have a branch here in the Philippines because Chick-fil-A sauce is the best thing ever that Americans created, I think. How did you get involved in the community? Well, in our program, we are required to at least finish 35 community volunteer hours, but if you do finish 100 volunteer hours, you would get a certificate coming from the Department of State. So that was the goal of mine. Luckily, I was able to take that. I volunteered in Habitat for Humanity. I was part of the FCCLA, so we did Fall Festival. We also did some cooking stuff, and then I volunteered in the concessionaires. I volunteered in a ministry and I tutored children. That was such a great experience of mine. And I think one of the most remarkable things that I've done in America was when I spoke in our March for Our Lives in Van Wert. That was basically a protest to pressure the government to impose gun laws and gun control, because that was a response to the mass shooting in Parkland High School where lives were taken and basically students died because of those actions. I myself actually experienced a shooting threat in my own school, and basically the only thing that was running into my mind at that time was that would I still be able to get home safely or be alive after that. Like basically that was the most terrifying thing that a person could ever go through, and I wouldn't want any exchange student to ever go through into that. Sadly, we actually lost one exchange student by the name of Sabika Sheikh. She was one of the shot kids in Texas in a mass shooting, and I think that it's sad that high school students or students in general in America has to go through these horrors. I hope that soon enough the government would be competent enough to take care of this kind of issue that's very serious. What was the weather like? This is so funny, okay, because Ohio can go from scorching hot to like snow. That's how weird it is. Like in a week we would have like hot weathers for like 3 days, and then after that by Friday it's gonna snow, especially during winter time, that you think it's already spring and then it snows. Like, girl, what's happening? What was your favorite place and travel experience? Well, I can give you two answers. In telling you my favorite travel experience, it would have to be my 5 days in Washington, D.C. I was sent there for a civic education workshop, and I actually did a vlog on it. So watch it if you want to see my experience and adventure in it. Shameless vlog. In terms of my favorite place to travel, we went to Pensacola Beach, Florida for our departure orientation for the last time with PAX. We almost lost 3, 4, 5 students because they almost drowned in the beach, but happily everyone was sent home safe. After that incident, I think we just bonded and we just got closer. As a matter of fact, we still check on each other from time to time right now. I basically found the best people during that time. I would always share my stories during that time, and I enjoyed my time in Florida. The ocean was fantastic. It was so pretty, but it was too cold though. And yeah, how did you get around? Well, aside from my host family bringing me here and there, our placement organization and my liaison coordinators always plan or schedule a trip for us, like an educational trip for us to learn. So I was able to get around Indiana, all these kinds of places. I was also able to go to Cedar Point, I was able to go to Cedar Point, which is the roller coaster capital of the world, and my experience there was great. If you're gonna ask me what's my favorite ride, it would probably be the Valraven. It was one of their new rides, so I really enjoyed my time there. How was your host family? I actually had two host families. The first family didn't work out well. So on my second one, I was hosted by the McInnes family, and they're basically the sweetest ever. They're very accepting, they're very loving, and they supported me all the way with the things that I do, and we're still in touch, and I miss them every day. They really cherished me as their own family. I wouldn't wish, or I wouldn't do it any other way, and would choose any other family to do it with. They're just the most accepting and loving American family that I could ever wish for. How are locals or Americans like in your host community? In terms of a small town, like small community that I have, relationships are pretty intimate. Therefore, if there's one person or if there's a new family moving over into the community, then it goes around pretty fast. The Americans were so accepting. When I go to football games and they would see me, they would tell me that their children are telling them stories about me, or if I get to interact with them, they're basically accepting. I never felt really unsafe. There was no situation that I could remember of that I felt disappointed with anyone in the community. Basically, every family that I meet would always tell me good things, and would always tell me that hopefully I enjoy my time in America. So one thing that I remember actually was during prom night, I actually ordered a garland, and then the person who owns the store, instead of making me pay, just made it for free. So I was happy about that. So shout out to you. Thank you for making that free. And how are the people in your program like? Honestly speaking, cream of crop, the best of the best. Like, they're smart, they're kind, they're accommodating, they're very warm, innovative in general. Like, these people have different capabilities and skills in general. So it's just amazing kids from different countries all together in one program. I wouldn't be shocked if one of them or many of them become president of their own countries. I just see the passion within them in terms of community volunteering and serving the community. They're just so very passionate about it. That's something that I really liked about people in my program. Just lucky and just happy to meet many of them from different countries. Shout out to my friends from India, Indonesia, Kazakhstan, Bangladesh, Pakistan. Like, I wouldn't even remember some of the countries. Great people. What was your most embarrassing moment? So aside from me getting lost in the hallways from time to time, because schools in America are just crazy with hallways, there was one time, and in my school we have this so-called nighttime. It's basically going to your homeroom class before you proceed to 7th period. And so after 6th period, because I was new in school and I was getting used to the schedule, I was bringing my very thick history book, because my 8th period is history, my English book, which was also very thick at that time. And then the bell was already ringing, and then I ran going to my English class instead of my homeroom class. And when I arrived there, my English teacher was already on the door about to close it, and then she was like, "It's nighttime." And then I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so dumb." And then basically all the kids in that class laughed watching me being dumb. And then it was a senior class, so it made it worse. So I just ran and went back to my homeroom class. But then my teacher clarified that no, they love you. They said you're hilarious. Why do people think I'm funny? I was being dumb, sis. Anyway, how did you deal with homesickness? I must say I was pretty good at managing my homesickness, but it was August 15. I was just almost a week in America where I felt really sad, so I cried. But most of the time in dealing with my homesickness, I like to talk to my friends, I like to chat with people and just basically talk it out. In terms of managing, we all have different ways to do it, but that's how I do it. I imagine myself in the Philippines again and then move on, because that's what you can do. Instead of being sad about it, do something positive about it. Last question. How would you describe your exchange year in few words? A life built in a year, and I would do it all over again if you'd ask me to. It was a lot of growing, it was a lot of improvements, and I know it wasn't perfect. It's not always rainbows and butterflies, but all you have to do is be grateful about the experiences that you had, because not all 16, 15, 17-year-old get to experience what I have experienced. Imagine I was born the year that this program was enacted into law, and now I am an alumni on the program, and I am actually the one perpetuating the purpose of the program. It's all about breaking stereotypes and educating each other about the cultures that we live in and being a global citizen so that we can all peacefully coexist and live with each other. So before I end this video, I would like to give a shout out to a few people. I would like to give a shout out to my host family for being there for me and for taking care of me during my time there in America. I would also like to congratulate the Crestview High School class of 2020 for finishing high school. Yay! Congratulations, classmates. If I were there, I would have graduated with all of you. And of course, happy second anniversary to batch 14 of the Yes Philippines. I miss and love you all, and I hope you're all doing great and are safe during this time of pandemic. Don't forget to follow me on my social media and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more exchange related videos. Don't forget to comment down below if you want a part 2 of this Q&A and would spill some more tea about my exchange here. This is Amir and says, always believe that you can be. Bye! And that's on. Period!